So guys, I am tired. So tired. I am going to get a cup of tea and then I'm going to come back. I'm getting tea because I do not like coffee. Coffee is bitter and no matter how much creamer you put in that thing, you still taste the coffee. So I'm going to get some tea after I finish this intro. I'm going to come back. My voice is going to sound clearer and nicer. No, it's not, but I'm just going to tell myself that. And and we're gonna read this fan fiction. We're gonna love it, and you're gonna go and support that author because we love authors in this community, and my channel would not be the way it is without them. Okie dokie. If you want to read this fan fiction ahead because I am slow, go on into that description, click that linkity dink, and boom, you read it. Make sure you follow them because we love authors. Did I hit my mic? I am so sorry. Hi. I did not mean to bop you guys. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, bye. See you at the end of the video. Peter and Ned walked into the apartment, and while the former moved to the small opening for a hallway nearby, the latter stood and gazed around the room in disbelief. He had been to Peter's apartment quite a few times, more than he can count actually, but he had always thought of it as being homey, happy. He had thought every apartment would be like that. Call him naive, but he couldn't imagine anyone living somewhere this barren. The couch had more than a few tears in it. The television looked like it belonged in the 19th century. The fridge was the kind someone would get in a hotel room, not to live with. There was a single fold-up table with 2 chairs to match. An oven that was tinier and more outdated than Ned had ever even imagined was possible, and random boxes around the room, varying in sizes, arranged to form different things. Some were made to look organized in a way like a cabinet, other formed counters. Ned couldn't help but stand and gaze around at the way this girl was living. How could anyone even survive like this? Peter, meanwhile, was moving immediately to where he knew Shay would be, her bedroom. There was the bathroom, the door cracked open, a guest room, and finally, at the end of the short hallway and next to the closet, there was her room. Peter reached for the knob before halting himself, instead reaching up to knock gently. Yeah, I'm coming, came Shay's voice, weaker than normal, but they're all the same. Actually, Shay, can I come in there and talk to you for a minute? There was silence before the door suddenly opened slowly, revealing Shay standing in a Midtown sweatshirt and black sweatpants. Her eyebrows furrowed as she opened the door wider. Yeah, sure. Come on. Peter deftly stepped inside as the door closed behind him. Shay took a seat on her bed, just a mattress with 2 pillows and blankets, and looked up at her friend. What is it? I brought Ned here. Her eyes widened. Your friend? Ned Leeds? Yeah, I thought we could tell him about Spider-Man. Shay raised an eyebrow. Why? He was really helpful the first time, Peter defended. Plus, if you told him about your powers, you could have another person watching your back. Okay, we'll tell him about you, but I'm staying silent next. I need someone as a friend before revealing the crazy aspect of my life to them, she explained. Peter nodded before speaking again, a smirk on his lips. Shay, your life would be crazy even if you didn't have powers, he said, gesturing around her room. She laughed. Point taken. Peter moved to the door before glancing back at her. You coming? She hopped up from her seat with a grin and a sharp nod. Yeah, let me just do something with my hair. Peter flashed her a thumbs up and left the room, leaving the door open just a crack as he made his way back to his friend. She'll be here in a minute. Ned nodded dumbly, his eyes still wandering around the room. Hey, sorry it took so long, came Shay's voice as she closed her room's door and walked into the living area, her hair now tied up messily in a ponytail. Hey, Shay. Peter smiled. You look great. She grinned brightly in his direction. Thanks, Peter. She turned to Ned and stared at him for a moment, seeming to think as her smile faded before it returned, now a soft and nervous thing as she reached her hand out. Hi, I'm Shay. It's nice to meet you. Ned extended his hand as well and shook hers. Ned leads. It's, nice to meet you too. Shay smiled widened a bit before she turned to Peter and clapped her hands together. Well, you have my homework, right? Oh, yeah. Peter nodded, reaching into his backpack and pulling out a small stack of papers. Here you are. The notes are in there too. I went to the library at school during lunch and printed off copies of all of my notes. Oh, awesome, Shay said, taking the papers from him and setting them on the dining room table behind her. Thanks, Peter. Anytime, Shay. All right, then. Do we want to get right to business, then? She questioned her friend. Peter glanced to Ned before nodding. Wait, what's going on? Ned asked, as he watched the two silent exchange. Peter here has something to tell you, Shay stated, nudging the teenage boy next to her. Right, Peter? Yeah, I do, Peter said, now chewing the inside of his cheek. He had done this last time by pure coincidence. Telling his friend outright was much more nerve-wracking. Okay, Ned? Yeah, Peter? Ned asked, his eyes flying from one person to the other. Is something wrong? Are we not friends anymore? His mind had clearly flown immediately to the worst possible situation. No, Peter reassured his friend quickly. I just have this crazy big thing I need to tell you. Ned gasped. I knew it! You're secretly Luke Skywalker? What the hell, Ned? No, Peter said, wringing his hands together. But I am Spider-Man, he added, as he jumped to the ceiling and gripped it with his sticky hands, pulling himself up and staring at the shocked face of his friend from upside down. Shay raised an eyebrow at the abrupt way Peter had revealed his secret, but shrugged the thought away a moment later. At least it got the job done. You're Spider-Man? Peter jumped back down to the ground again and rubbed his arm. Yeah. You were on the ceiling! Peter glanced at Shay, who seemed to be no more prepared to handle Ned's reaction than he was. Yeah. Ned spun to look at Shay. Are you Spider-Man too? Shay's eyebrows furrowed. What? Ned, no. Then Ned took in a deep breath and scanned her. What are you? I'm just... Shay thought for the right words. A friend. Cool, Ned grinned. My best friend, who is Spider-Man, has a friend too. Ned's eyes narrowed. Wait, how did you two meet each other? Well, I met her after school a while back, and then Shay accidentally saw me in the alley while I was changing into my Spider-Man suit, Peter explained, feeling bad for lying, but they couldn't tell anyone the truth. Not yet. Oh, that's surprisingly simple, Ned stated, his brows furrowing. I thought your meeting would be more dramatic. Like, I don't know, Shay was the one who gave you your powers before realizing that was wrong and turned over a new leaf before becoming your sidekick or something. What? Ned, no, Peter said as Shay looked incredulous at the idea. I just met her at school. She goes to Midtown, you know. So she didn't give you your magic spider powers? Ned questioned for further confirmation. No, Ned. I got those on the Oscorp field trip last year. Got bit by a radioactive spider. Shay burst into laughter at his words. Wait, really? Ned asked, looking up from his shoes back to his best friend. That's it? You just got bit by a spider. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Peter laughed. Totally, Ned confirmed. You became Spider-Man because you got bit by a spider on a field trip. Shay spoke between breaths and giggles that continued to escape her. Peter's cheeks became tinted with red, but he nodded.
Yeah. That is the funniest superhero origin story I have ever heard.
She breathed out when she had calmed herself enough to speak in a full sentence.
A spider bite on a field trip. What the hell were you even doing? I wanted a picture of the spider,
Peter said, wringing his hands. Shay snorted before dissolving back into giggles.
You wanted a picture? It was a really cool spider!
Peter tried to defend himself, but when he heard Ned laugh beside him and saw Shay collapsed on the ground, apparently laughing too hard to even stand properly, he knew it had the opposite effect.
I'm sorry, Peter, but I have to agree with her. That's really funny,
Ned stated, making Peter groan as he fell back onto the torn couch and slapped his hand to his forehead.
Okay, Ned said. So, Peter, you're Spider-Man, and Shay is your friend.
Peter nodded.
Is she the only one who knows?
No, Mr. Stark does too. And his bodyguard Happy, Peter explained.
Mr. Stark knows? What about the Stark internship?
Ned, Shay intervened. This is the Stark internship. Stark Industries doesn't even accept high schoolers. Oh, Ned stated, before his eyes widened.
Oh! So you're like an Avenger now!
Peter shrugged.
Yeah, basically.
Neither friend mentioned how his voice jumped up an octave. Shay eyed the boy beside her, but said nothing. Ned seemed to buy it.
Shay,
Ned suddenly asked, turning to the girl and making her jump when he spoke her name.
Where are your parents?
Oh, they're out of town, she stated. Business. I live alone and my mom sends me money for rent and food every few months.
So you live on your own then?
Ned asked. Shay nodded and his face broke into a grin.
That's so awesome! I wish I lived on my own.
His smile dropped as he fell into thought.
Well, no, actually. My mom is a really good cook, so...
The other two teenagers laughed at Ned's words, causing a smile to reappear on his face.
Alice,
Shay called out after she had caught her breath again. Please tell me you're recording this.
Of course I am,
Alice stated, her British accent much more exaggerated than normal.
Alice, why are you talking like that?
Mr. Leeds' reaction is very amusing.
Peter and Shay turned to Ned, who looked confused, scared, shocked, and a variety of other emotions all at once.
Who is that?
He managed to ask.
Greetings, Mr. Leeds.
Alice spoke, her accent still over-exaggerated.
I am a person from the University of Harry Potter, and died in the Battle of Hogwarts, and was reincarnated in this universe as a disembodied voice with control over technology.
Whoa, really?
Ned asked, his eyes wide. Shay scoffed and shook her head. No, Alice is just messing with you. She's my AI that I made last year. She has an extreme sense of humor when there's no crisis to alert or anything.
You made her?
Ned questioned incredulously.
But she sounds so human. I'm pretty sure that even Tony Stark doesn't have an AI as human as Alice is.
Shay's cheeks exploded in pink. I'm sure he does.
Either way, Ned said, Stark Industries is missing out big time by not accepting high school interns if you're in high school.
The girl's cheeks, if possible, grew even redder than before. This has to be my favorite chapter so far. This was so fun. The laughing, I never thought about it, but yeah, the way Peter turned into a Spider-Man is kind of funny. Oh man, that was so good. So make sure you go and support the author because that was great. I loved that one. I really have to go right now. I'm like packing up while I'm recording this. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Love you. See you in the next one. Bye.